So to get started with AdonisJS, we'll need a few things. First is Node.js version 24 or later, and NPM version 11 or later. These two come packaged together, so by installing Node.js, NPM is going to come along with it. Node.js is the runtime our AdonisJS application will run on, and the Node Package Manager, or NPM, is how we can install and manage our project packages. There's a number of ways to get Node.js installed on your system, so feel free to pick whichever suits you best. The easiest is going to be to download the installer or binary for your system. I like to use a manager though, because they allow you to install and swap between multiple versions of Node.js on the fly, which is super nice when you need to work with multiple projects to jump between various versions that those projects support. So for the most up-to-date instructions on how to install Node.js, we can head over to nodejs.org, and their website should look something like this. It may change slightly over time, but we should have a download option right up here in the nav bar that we can click on to get some download options. The installer or binary that I mentioned is going to be right down here. So you can click on the macOS installer. This should automatically switch to support your desired system. So for example, if I switch over to Windows, we also have a Windows installer, and there's one for Linux there as well for a binary. So you can install it that way. But what this top section is showing is how to use a Node version manager. So for example, we're saying if we want version 24, which is the long-term support version of Node.js currently for macOS, using NVM, which is short for Node Version Manager, then we can use this command right here from curl to get that installed on our system. I like to use FNM, which is short for Fast Node Manager. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this curl command here for FNM, and then we can jump into our terminal of choice. Regardless of your system, there should be a default terminal application that you can use on your system, or you can use an alternative terminal solution if you prefer one over the other. For example, I like to use Ghosty here, so I'm going to right click this, open up a new tab, and I will expand this out. And then we just need to paste that curl command in to install it for our shell. So it's going to run through, do what it needs to do. And yours might look different than mine. It might take a little bit longer. I'm getting a warning here because Fast Node Manager is already running and up to date here on my system. But once that does succeed, it's going to add FNM into our shell's path so that we have that command readily available as just FNM. Now, in order to get that readily available, you do need to resource your shell's configuration. One way to do that is via the source command right there, or you can just close out your terminal, reopen a brand new one. So I'm just going to do new tab there, and there we go. We've just resourced it. So if you do FNM -help there, you should now see the help options for Fast Node Manager, with which we can install a new Node.js version using the install command. So if we scroll back down there, I'm going to clear this out. We should be able to do FNM install 24 to install Node.js version 24 on our system. Alternatively, you can also do --LTS to install the current long-term support version of Node.js that is available. So we can run that there, and you'll see that right now is going to install Node.js version 24, which is the current long-term support version and the minimum version required by AdonisJS version 7. Once that's installed, if that is the only version of Node.js that you have installed, you should be able to do FNM current to print out the current version of Node.js you have. You should also be able to do node-v to print out directly from Node itself the current version Node is using. And then just to confirm that NPM, our Node Package Manager, installed correctly as well, we can also do npm-v there as well. So we have our minimum requirements for AdonisJS version 7 now met. We have version 24 of Node, and we have version 11 of NPM. Perfect. We can clear that out and close that out of our way. Next, we're going to need a text editor to write our code within. Visual Studio Code, or VS Code, is the most widely used text editor and has the most bells and whistles for AdonisJS baked in via extensions. So it's what we'll be using throughout the series. You can, however, use whatever you would like. EdgeJS, the template engine for server-rendered apps in AdonisJS, has support for Visual Studio Code, Zed, and Sublime Text. So Visual Studio Code can be installed just like any other application on your system. We just need to go to code.visualstudio.com, download it for your system, open up the installer, run through the steps that it walks you through, and then you should have it installed on your system, which you can then open up and it will look a little something like this. On the left-hand side here is our activity bar. From top to bottom, these are our file explorer, project search, Git integration, which is source control management, run and debug, and then extensions. So let's go ahead and open up the extensions panel, because this is how we're going to add additional functionality for AdonisJS within our text editor here. The one we're after here today is called AdonisJS extension pack. You should just be able to search AdonisJS and get a result for it. You'll have the AdonisJS extension that might come up first. But if we take a look at the AdonisJS extension pack, this one comes with 3 separate packages in this single pack. The 3 different packages are shown in this little section right here. I know it's not showing fully here, but we have a scroll bar to show all 3. So we have the AdonisJS extension, which is the same one that we see right here by Julian Rapateau. And then we have the EdgeJS template syntax highlighter, and then the Japa extension. So we can go ahead and install all 3 of these in one go by clicking the install button right up there. And once we do, you should notice that now within our activity bar, we have a little AdonisJS icon. If we were to open this up at the moment, we don't have anything open within our workspace, so we're not going to see anything here. But if we were to open up an AdonisJS project within our text editor, we would then begin to see helpful links, workspace management, ACE CLI commands, which we'll talk about later, and a list of our defined routes, among other things. Additionally, if we were to hold Command-Shift-P to open up Visual Studio Code's command palette, the AdonisJS extension adds ACE CLI commands here as well. Again, we'll get familiar with the ACE CLI later on. Now for the Japa extension, Japa is AdonisJS's testing framework. This extension adds a number of super handy test features for Japa directly inside of our editor, like code lens, shortcuts, and even a test explorer. And I have a series on testing with Japa if you'd like to expand further on that. Then we finally have the EdgeJS extension. So EdgeJS, as mentioned a moment ago, is AdonisJS's template engine. Visual Studio Code doesn't natively support EdgeJS, so this extension adds support for it, giving it syntax highlighting, code folding, autocomplete, among other things there as well. Now, there are a couple of additional options here. So AdonisJS projects come pre-configured for ESLint and Prettier. ESLint is a linter that will scan our codebase to highlight potential issues, including bugs and stylistic inconsistencies. For example, we can use it to ensure that our project does not contain any unused imports or variables. Prettier is an opinionated code formatter specifically meant to enforce specific code styles like line length limits. So if we were to hop back over into our extension panel, clear out our search bar, and search for ESLint, we should see this one here by Microsoft. ESLint can be used a couple of different ways. It can be a simple check prior to your build step, but we can save ourselves some time by integrating it via this extension directly into Visual Studio Code. This will highlight issues ESLint has found directly within our editor. We can even hook into the file save operation within our editor to have ESLint attempt to auto-fix issues it's able to whenever we save our document as well. Now, right here within the extensions documentation, we can see that it recommends installing locally. We actually don't need to worry about doing this because AdonisJS comes with this pre-installed as a dev dependency within brand new projects. A dev dependency, by the way, is when a package is installed only for development purposes. It won't be included in the final production build of our application. So we can go ahead and give ESLint here an install. And if we want to hook into this extension on save, so whenever we save our code files, we can have ESLint automatically run for that file by jumping into our user's JSON settings. So we'll open up that command palette again via Command or Control-Shift-P. And if we search for settings, we should see a couple of preference options. So we have Preferences, Open User Settings, Preferences, Open User Settings, JSON. This is the one that we want here. There is also a UI version of it there, but it does not contain the setting that we need to change. So we'll open up the JSON version here. If your Visual Studio Code install is brand new, like this one here, this JSON file will be empty. Within here, what we want to do is for our editor, add a code action on save. This takes in an object, and specifically for ESLint, we want source.fixall.eslint, and we'll set that to explicit. If you want a copy pastable option of that, you can also find this within the extensions documentation a little bit further down. Okay, maybe a lot further down here. If we keep scrolling, it should be right here. So this one right here is the one that we used. For the most part, I found just using ESLint to be sufficient, as AdonisJS's ESLint configuration also includes a Prettier plugin. However, if you'd like to use Prettier in addition to ESLint, then you can easily do that by installing the Prettier extension within Visual Studio Code's extension panel as well by searching for Prettier. It'll be the one titled Prettier-Code Formatter by Prettier itself right there. So if you do want to use this, you can go ahead and install this extension, head back over into your settings.json and add in a new editor option. So editor.default formatter, and you can set this to esbenp.prettier-Visual Studio Code. You can also have this auto format whenever you save by doing editor.format on save. And there's also format on paste there. So we can set those to true if we would like. So editor format on paste to true there. Again, I tend to find just using ESLint to be sufficient. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those and uninstall Prettier for myself. Okay, so there's plenty of other extensions that you can find on the extension marketplace, but the final one that we're going to talk about here is Emmet. Emmet is a set of abbreviations allowing HTML to be written super quickly, and it comes pre-installed with Visual Studio Code. It, however, does not natively recognize EdgeJS markup. EdgeJS does fully support traditional HTML though, so we can easily tell Emmet to treat EdgeJS files just like it's traditional HTML to enable Emmet within it. So again, if we jump back into our settings JSON file, we can easily do this by adding in a new option for Emmet.include languages. And then we'll just say that for the Edge file extension, which is what EdgeJS uses for its files extension, we can set this to treat it like just HTML. And what this will allow us to do then is write an Emmet abbreviation, something like HTML:5, hit enter, and it will replace that abbreviation that we've entered with a doc type template of a full HTML document. There's also things like doing div.myClass enter to create a div element with a class of my class, for example. So you kind of have to know what you're looking for with the JSON settings for Visual Studio Code, but as mentioned, there is also a UI version. So if we search for settings once more, go into the UI version of this, you'll see it's going to look something like this. Via this UI here, we're able to change anything that we want. So if I change the font size from 12 to 13, and that will automatically apply it to our JSON for us. So we don't have to exactly know the specific thing that we're looking for. We can instead just find it within the UI. The reason why we needed to write these within the JSON is because they're kind of lower level options that aren't covered within the settings here. So while I'm in here, I'm also going to change my font family. At the moment, I'm using a font called Maple Font. And do note that if your font name is 2 words or more, you do need to wrap that in a single quote to act like a string. Okay, one more thing I'm going to do is just write down here. I want to set the tab size to 2. This changes the default number of spaces. Hitting tab on our keyboard will indent our code. So for example, there is 4 spaces between the start of our file and our first level of indentation here. This can also be changed on a per file basis right down here where you see spaces. That's currently 4. We can select indent using spaces and switch that to 2. And now you'll see that these are now treated as though they're indented twice. So we can dedent it once, and that just kind of saves us horizontal space. And from here, you can spend as much time as you'd like customizing your Visual Studio Code installation. You can install custom themes if you would like to change the color and look of it, and other things like that as well. Great. So finally, let's go ahead and create our AdonisJS project. So let's close out all of these little things here, and we can head it back over into our File Explorer and just click that one more time to hide it away, because Visual Studio Code also includes an integrated terminal within it. So how I was previously using Ghosty, we can just access a terminal right here within Visual Studio Code without having to leave it. So to open this, we can hit Command or Control J, and it should default to the Terminal tab, but if not, just go ahead and click on Terminal right there. And you can see that can also be opened with Control tilde as well. Alternatively, this can be found within the menu bar. If you go into View, there should be Terminal right here that you can click on to open this up also. So with this integrated terminal, we can also change the size of it by clicking and dragging this little bar here, or we can make it take up the full available space by clicking on that little full screen icon there.